Yeah, it's not going to be really too much to talk about. I want to say that here, let me mute real quick. I want to say that Patrick Teixeira, he he did not represent for the email champions. If you don't know, former WBO interim champion, should be former WBO world champion. He was elevated to WBO 154-pound champion after defeating Carlos Adames after Jaime Munguia moved up. So therefore, he got a notification in the email, probably some typed written correspondence from the WBO saying like, "Hey, guess what? You're the champion now." By the way, I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView3CT.com. We're gonna get you some highlights. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at TstreeT, the number 4 life. I'm gonna put it down below in the description box. So I feel good being back. We're gonna get over to up here's some highlights. So I want to say that, like, let me tell you, I'm not trying to be too harsh here, but Teixeira reminds me. I've been playing a lot of Fight Night Champion lately. He reminds me of like a creative fighter that like doesn't have like one good thing that they do, but like his chin is kind of good, I guess. So I guess you would rate him like an 82 or something. But one thing for sure is he took a lot of punches to the fucking face, as you can see right there. Brian Castano should win on my cards at least 10 of the 12 rounds, being generous. There was some uppercuts. I guess what you can take away from the fight for Teixeira is the fact that, like, you know, he looked durable outside of being stopped by Curtis Stevens. I covered that fight, you know, years ago. He's durable. He can take a punch, you know. He's just not that good. So we're waiting for them to read the cards. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some bullshit. Not saying that Castano is going to get robbed. He should get the decision. Also, if you didn't get a chance to see Castano versus Erislandy Lara, another fight that I covered, it was on Showtime. How did you... Oh, let's listen in. Shh, let me turn it up.
The totals. Dr. Lou Moret has it 120,
Please,
108.
like the video.
Robert Hoyle,
Subscribe.
119, 109. And Zach Young, 117, 111. All for your winner by unanimous decision. And new WBO Junior Middleweight Champion of the World, Brian Castano.
The question is Charlo next?
Dream happens here tonight in the Southern California desert as Argentina has another world champion.
And that belt is currency for Brian Castano. It puts him in a position to get that fight against Charlo, to get that payday, and potentially put himself in line for bigger fights down the line.
I forgot that this is not the main event. This has been a good card. I got a chance to catch up on the Shane Mosley fight. Didn't get to see the Murtazaliev Fitch fight. But overall, from what I've seen, I enjoyed what I've seen from the Ronnie Rios Negrete fight. This, because of the implications, you know, was a pretty solid fight. One-sided, yeah. But, you know, I guess what we were looking for to see if how long was Teixeira going to hold up and if he was going to get KO'd or not. At least that's what I was looking for. So here is the lore. If Teixeira would have won, it looks like we could have seen Tim Tszyu, if he defeats the son of Costa Tszyu, if he defeats Dennis Hogan March the 31st, the Dennis Hogan that fought Jaime Munguia that should have won for this belt, and got beat up by Jermell Charlo at 160. So if he wins on March 31st, Tim Tszyu, it looks like it would have been Tim Tszyu versus Teixeira versus Tim Tszyu in Australia. But now it's looking like it's going to be definitely Jermell Charlo versus Brian Castano to be undisputed 154-pound champion of the world, the first in the 4-belt era. And you know PBC doesn't really acknowledge the WBO. So for Charlo to have this chance, I know they're not going to deny him that. And I was thinking, even if Teixeira did win, that they probably would pay, you know, a boatload to get Teixeira, you know, to fight Charlo, basically paying for the belt. Now, can Castano beat Jermell Charlo? I'm going to say no. It's going to be a nice pressure fight for him, you know, because we know from what we saw with the Lara fight that Castano will provide pressure.
And maybe we
Pressure
will
that Charlo
cry for
hasn't
you,
seen.
Argentina. Sergio, you won a world title. What is he feeling right
Yeah, he can get his ass knocked out, but what I'm saying is, you know, he would have the potential if you can go back, and I've covered Charlo fights for years, both of them. Go back and watch the John Jackson fight. Yes, it's with a different trainer, with Derek James, but what I'm saying is, wait, he didn't have Derek James then, did he, when he fought John Jackson? What I'm saying is, in the past, pressure has seemed to give and punch output has seemed to give Jermell Charlo some problems. Here's the punch stats here. Pause it if you have to. Once again, take your time out, like the video. The man threw
100 punches
look at
thrown
that. Crazy.
for Brian Castano. Ordinarily, 972 for Teixeira would
Crazy.
be a huge number, but he has
So you
been
see what I'm saying?
overshadowed by the activity of Brian Castano. 33% connect
We'll take
rate,
care of some business.
373 of those punches landed. And look at
Give me that.
those numbers. Power shots.
There you go.
927 of the 1,100 plus punches Castano thrown were power shots. 344
Crazy.
of them landed. Solid 37% connect rate. This is what this guy does. No matter it's Erislandy Lara or Patrick Teixeira, he throws with bad intentions, and he landed them tonight.
We've got one new champion. Will we see another? Our main event.
We're not
is
going to get a
next.
post-fight interview from a new champion? What the fuck is going on? I forgot. I'm supposed to stop cussing. So, you know, now the question is, I say there's going to be 80 to 90% chance we're going to see Jermell Charlo versus Brian Castano. Currently, right now, Jermell Charlo does not have any mandatories. Bakram Murtazaliev, he's not the man. No, he's not, right? I mean, he's ranked number 1 by the IBF. I got to sharpen up. He don't have no WBA mandatory. And Erickson Lubin and Sergio Garcia, they're really going to the main event without giving my man an interview. Bro, who okayed that? I mean, I guess because he's not the Zones fighter, he's going to go over to the PBC. That's probably why they did that bullshit. If it was Teixeira, they would have probably likely gave his ass an interview, especially since he's a Golden Boy fighter and this is their card. This is a PBC fighter. See, for certain PBC fights, summer fighters go to certain networks. This was too big of a fight for Castano not to go over to get that belt for the bigger picture, because if Charlo beats Castano, then PBC will control the belt in the 154-pound division. That gives leverage. You see what I'm seeing in a lot of different situations. So it's a lot about chess. And I see Jermell Charlo eventually moving to 160, his brother moving to 168, and Errol Spence moving to 154. So you see where I'm going with that? How, like, if Spence moves up and then, you know, whatever 154, 147 guys that are going to want to move up. You see what I'm saying? So it's big politically. So the question is, when does the Charlo fight happen? June? May? Is that going to be too soon? And you also have to factor in, will they put it on pay-per-view? Charlo's already been on pay-per-view. The way it goes is you're on pay-per-view once. They want to keep you on pay-per-view. So I'm guessing, you know, and by the way, I heard the Charlo pay-per-view didn't do up to what they was expecting. But I'm guessing that because it's undisputed, they're going to be like, well, pay-per-view it, but they're going to have to stack up the undercard with who? You know, will it be another, you know, Charlo doubleheader? I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that again. And if so, Jermell Charlo was having some issues with some, you know, some pickings up there at 160 pounds himself. So, like I said, I'm kind of upset, you know, like you still want to, they should have gave the man an interview. You see what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Let's get on to the main event. I mean, the 117, which one card was 117, 111, right? That was being generous. 117, 111 was being generous. Okay, let me see. Bout scores. Yeah, I mean, you know, giving them 2 rounds was being generous. Like, I didn't want to give them 2 rounds, but I felt bad for him. Shit. But that's not what it's about. I mean, listen, see, it's hard to say he got really beat up. he just took a lot of punches and he just, you know, lost the fight, lost every round. He wasn't like getting smacked all over the place, but he was taking a lot of motherfucking punches to the face. You know? So take your time out. Please like the video, subscribe on TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. I'm just gonna go ahead and pony up, man. If I don't fall asleep and give UFC my money, I was just waiting to see. I really only cover UFC because when I'm covering boxing, a lot of times boxing is on and I'm just getting in time for the UFC co-main or main events. Not that I don't want to cover all UFC cards. The whole cards is just that with the timing. Boxing is my baby. You know, kind of cover boxing first. Well, anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Take your time out. Please like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at TstreeT, the number 4 for life. The main event is up next. Going to cover this and head over to Richard Comey versus Jackson Miranez on Top Rank on ESPN.